And welcome to part 3 on what to do if your book is not selling. Okay, so this is geared towards those whose book is either stopped selling or is just not selling at all. And we're going to get into a new method, my favorite method, and it's called the Copycat Method. Okay, so like we explained last video, right? Grab your notebook, grab your pen, or you do it on a laptop or whatever. And what you do is you go and look at who in your genre or field that is excelling. Okay, so you have a couple of options. Option one, which is kind of a non-suggestible option, but at the same time there is stuff to be learned, is you can take like the top dogs in the field. We're talking to the guys on the bestseller lists, the top names, the top huge guys or girls, and what you do is you could pick them, okay, and then also in your field, there's obviously you're going to be, if you're networking properly, you're going to notice that there's going to be some people who are very much succeeding at their publishing efforts, and there's also those that you're going to recognize who have put in the grunt work and have elevated themselves over the years to get to where they are. Okay, all right. So you pick someone sort of I would suggest several levels, quote unquote, above you in terms of success, in terms of what we're talking about, if that's how we're measuring success right now, okay? And you could take them, and you can even take someone, along your side, but who's doing really well as well, okay? And so you have a few choices. So what the goal is you grab your notebook, your pen, computer, whatever, and you look at what they're doing. You go to their website, you go to their social media page, you go to wherever they are, right, that you can find out information about them. Even if you can meet them in person at a convention or a book signing or whatever, talk to them, right? The authors are friendly, right? So what you do is you make an exhaustive list on every single thing they're doing, okay? And even if the stuff that they're doing, like some of it is what you're doing, put it on the list anyway. Okay, we're going to go into like exhaustion is important. And the reason it's important is because it's better to have too much information than not enough information. It's better to be like swamped with it and then weed out what you want versus not enough. Okay, I mean, look at this book by John Kremer, right? 1,001 Ways to Market Your Book. I put a review on my website, but if you want to talk exhaustive, I mean, this whole book is all stuff that you can do to market the book. It's crazy, right? But anyway, as per the copycat method, right? So you have your exhaustive list now of everything that these people are doing that are seemingly helping to their sales, okay? So then what you do, once you have your exhaustive list, is you see, okay, first of all, okay, yes, I'm doing this. Yeah, I'm doing that. Okay, am I doing it right? You ask yourself, how is this person doing it? And how am I doing it? Is their method of, let's just say a Facebook post better than the way I'm doing my Facebook post, right? And what you do through all those items, and let's just pick a number here. Let's just say 50. To say you had a list of 50 things, 50, okay, across all the people you examined. And yeah, you go through your list, see what needs improvement for starters based on the things that you are doing. And then after that, the stuff that you are not doing, start putting that in motion, right? And start up, let's just say you don't have, I don't know, a TikTok going, but you know that so-and-so does, and they seem to be getting a lot of views, and they're promoting their stuff, and, based upon what sales are doing great because of that. And by great, I'm not talking, massive sales. I mean, that could be the case, but I'm just talking, generally well. Okay, so for example, yeah, I don't have a TikTok. Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna try that out. Okay, let's try that out. I don't have bookmarks specifically for this book, and this would be a really good book to have bookmarks for, to give out at book signings and conventions. Okay, I'm gonna start that too, and so on down the list, right? And then, as we discussed in the previous video, right, you look at what's working for that particular project and what is not, once you implemented a bunch of things, okay, as the copycat method. Because remember, what works for Joe Ryder over there doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. But what it does is it gives you this plethora of foundation, this ground base upon which to then try out. Look at it like a garden, right? You're planting different seeds, you have different kinds of vegetables, and some, as per any gardener would tell you, some will come up wonderful, and other ones will kind of sprout a little bit, or some might just flat out die. It's just the way it goes, right? That's how gardening works, and it's the same in publishing, right? So you start out with these points now from all this stuff you have copying other people, And then you could see what's working and what is not over time. Again, give it a few months, let the machine roll, see what you can automate to save yourself time, and go from there, right? So based upon that, let's see if sales elevate. If they do, okay, well then clearly this method of the copycat is working. If they're going up just a bit, well, it's still working, but maybe it needs some fine tuning. If they're not going up at all, then you have to stop and go, okay, so I'm doing all these things that, Joe Ryder over there is doing, and it's not working. And say you've even looked at your list of everything you're doing, and you're doing it just like Joe Ryder over there, and you're like, ugh, it's not working either. Okay, well then what you do with the copycat method is you make it your own, right? You have the copycat done as per how Joe does it, but now do it how you do it, right? And try that, okay? So we try to do it the way Joe does first, because if Joe is successful, well, odds are what they're doing is probably some of it is universal on some level, right? So you could take some of that. And then other stuff, of course, is just purely to do with the book itself, the audience at that particular moment that the book is released, and all the stuff that we discussed in the first video regarding the publishing machine and how it works, right? But the point is, try what other people are doing exhaustively. Do what needs to be done. Do the work. As per the first video, I said like 10% is your writing and book production stuff, 90% is everything else. And that's just how it is right now, especially in the flooded market. So yeah, you might have to start a YouTube channel. You might have to create a link tree, which is a wonderful tool, by the way. It's in the description, mine. You can take a look at it for an example. I mean, it's a one link to everything on you and the web. It's great. And yeah, so anyway, that's the copycat method. Look at what they're doing. And it doesn't matter, I mean, if you're concerned about, and I'm going to bring this up only for one reason, and if you're concerned about gender issues, like you want copy male and female alike. Why? Because they're obviously doing something, right? It doesn't matter if, say, your genre is not typically, let's just say you're in my case, a male writing. My stuff is not necessary for females, but there are females who are into my stuff, right? So I will look at a female writer who, one, is in the genres that I do, but two, outside those genres, in typical quote-unquote female genres, and see what they're doing and grab info from there. Because you could always cater it and change it and transform it to match whatever it is that you're doing, okay? So there's tons of options. So the idea is simple. It's copycat. It's grab as much info as you can, be crazy like John Kremer, and get 1,001 ways going. And then from there, as per our previous videos, you see what works, find out what doesn't, right? And what doesn't, you set aside out of that mass of stuff that you're going to try, and keep the stuff that does work, right? And then next project, same idea, right? You have your stuff that does work that you know based off the copycat method, and then you also have the stuff that didn't work from the copycat method for that particular project, but then at the same time, because it's a new project, try it. Take the stuff that didn't work for the other one, all those things to copycat, put them back under for the new project, and then try them out. And again, you do that weeding process, right? And the whole point is, if you just keep doing it over and over, I went to this in the first video, I said, there is a thing in publishing where it is luck of the draw. I mean, even Stephen King in On Writing said, in terms of success regarding this business, and he was referring to like a book success on the market, he said it's a combination of skill and luck. And he's right. Okay, like one, yes, you need a certain level of skill to produce a quality book. If you're writing good stuff, like you're just in terms of quality, sales aside for a moment, in good quality, word of mouth will pick up on that, because then you become reliable in terms of good quality stories. And then, you know what, he's right, Steve was right about the luck portion. I mean, you can't measure yourself against someone who's doing well on Amazon, who's an independent. I mean, by all means, take a look at what we're doing, at what they're doing. Again, the copycat method applies here, but also understand too that the way the business is right now, I mean, a lot of stuff is just hitting the algorithm just right at just the right time, with just the right keywords, with just the right everything, in order for things to whoosh. I mean, how is it possible for a no-name person, like for a first effort, so therefore no name, no reputation ahead of them, to put something on and suddenly it skyrockets, right? That's pure algorithm stuff. That's luck. And then, of course, they start to boast and come off as experts, and it doesn't make sense. But anyway, the point is, you can't view it that way. You can't look at it that way. You have to look at the big picture. You have to look at the copycat. You have to see how all these things will affect the rest of your career and all the rest of your projects going forward, and how you're setting up even a groundwork machine underneath it all, right? Because you have, say, in terms of online stuff, for example, you have your social media, you might have your podcast interviews, you might have your articles and whatever. So these are all these underground things that are constantly there and running in the background, and then you're here on top trying these other things to get the book going. So yeah, that's the method, copycat, and it is what it sounds like. Copy and see, copy and see, copy and see, copy and see, over and over ad nauseum until you find what works, and you start putting your own marketing voice into it, and you start doing things that way, and next thing you know, you will see changes. I speak from experience. The copycat method works. It's not saying it's going to take you from 0 to a billion, right? But what it is going to do is it should give you some form of incline as time goes on. And remember the whole thing about publishing, remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So what you need to do is you need to look at it that way. What do I need to bring with me? And we're going to use the copycat stuff to go forward, so that as we move forward, we're not running this way, right? We're running this way, slow but sure, right? And that's the whole point. I mean, a lot of people quit. I heard it as encouragement, and I'll end with this, regarding the marathon versus a sprint. Right? There's hundreds of thousands of books published in a month, never mind a year. Okay, it's crazy how much is going out right now. And a lot of these people are first timers, and you're all kind of sort of starting in the running at the starting line of the race, right? And you're all going, and you're going to keep going because it's a marathon. But these people are going to want instant success, and if they fail, they're going to quit. And I've seen this happen a bazillion times. They don't get what they want, so then they quit. So they fall off the race, right? But you're still going. You're still going. And there other people are coming on board, and they're falling off the race. Other people are coming on board. Some are sticking, but others are still falling off, and so on, right? And what you want to keep doing is just keep running over and over and over. And the copycat method is a great way to do that, especially with the way technology is changing, and even the world around us is changing, in like the physical world, even how bookstores run things, how conventions run things, and workshops run things, and all sorts of things, right? So stay on top of it. Copy what the other people are doing if they're more in tune with things than you are. Get current, copy what they're doing, put it on your stuff, do the marathon, do the work, and over time, keep going, and you should get where you want to go. Okay? All right. So again, if you have any questions, throw them in the comments, and I will gladly answer them for you as best as I can. And if I don't know the answer, I'll point you to something that does have the answer. Okay? So thanks for tuning in for part 3 of this Authortube series on what to do if your book stops selling. I hope the copycat method made sense, right? Again, just a very summation. Copy everything, and then find out what works, find out what doesn't, and go from there. Okay? And we'll see you next Authortube video. And should we do another one on what to do when your book stops selling? Yeah, I have a good idea on what we can do for the next one. So yeah, part 4 will be coming, and it's going to give some more options on ways to look at your project. In the meantime, try out the copycat method. It's going to take time, it's going to take work, and you need to give it a few months to really get going. But at the same time, it's worth it, okay? Cheers. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Anyone who needs help selling their book, shoot them over here. Peace.